Hey folks, today we're heading out for a couple of different boudoir shoots. I've rented a fantastic location to shoot in. We've got two great models. Come join us. So we're shooting for several different projects today. We're going to be getting lots of B-roll for some different YouTube reviews and stuff that are coming along. So we thought we'd bring you for the whole day. I've got like 3 different camera systems with me and about 20 different lenses that we're going to be shooting with, as well as dozens of outfits. So let's grab a taxi and head into the hotel. The first shoot of the day is with model Felicia, and you might recognize this location. We shot here together for the Digital Rev Challenge. What do you think of the edits I'm showing here? Every single image that I'm showing was edited for me automatically by the software Imagine. I'll show you how we do that a little bit later. More outfits, more locations, more lenses tested. You'll notice the different kind of looks we're getting in the images here. And the couple of hours we had with Felicia just flew by. Time to grab some lunch. Okay, so great first morning they're shooting with Felicia. She actually has to run back to her own studio to pick up her gear, and I think she's gonna join us for the start of the next shoot, which is with Rosanna. Now that one's less for different testing and more as an actual boudoir shoot. I mean, they both were, but that one I'm trying to get some nice images for her. She's starting out as a model, so trying some different looks. I've got a bunch of different outfits, so we'll try and get as many different looks done as we can. Have a quick lunch, and then we should be meeting her in about 45 minutes. See, it's not all seafood, dim sum, or snake soup in Hong Kong. Today we're having pho for lunch. Back to work, and this time we're shooting with Rosanna. Rosanna is a professional dancer and a ballet teacher. She's done loads of fashion and dance shoots, but this is her first time doing boudoir, so it was great to have Felicia on site to share some tips and encouragement. Now, a great thing about shooting with dancers, they always have pointed toes and graceful and interesting lines, and they can get into some really interesting positions. All of the images I'm showing of Rosanna here are also the direct edits that were made automatically for me by Imagine based on my own style of editing. You'll notice all these photos are black and white because I was using a profile I made in Imagine for black and white, but I've also got others for color if you want to process things that way. See, those shots on the chair? That's the kind of poses you only get from a dancer. Now, tail end of an 8-hour shoot day, it's time to pack up and head back to the studio. Okay. I'm getting old. I'm exhausted. Thankfully, it was a fun day. Got everything we needed. Time for dinner now. Felicia's going to be coming by the studio in a couple of days' time so we can go through the review process and show you how we do that AI editing then. So stick around, and in the magic of editing, Ernest will put that next. Okay, folks, so it's a couple of days later now. Felicia is back in. Hi.
Morning.
We're actually doing some more shooting today, but I thought while she's here, I'll show her the shots from the day. Chosen out some that I thought would be great from her and Rosanna before doing the whole process. And Felicia's actually a photographer as well. She does lots of boudoir shooting behind the camera. So I think this could be cool software for you. Just give you guys, and you as well, a background on it. So it is AI, but I know a lot of people think that AI is just, it analyzes a photo and gives you an automatic output that, you know, it doesn't matter whose photo it is, it will give you the same result. This is kind of different. Well, it's completely different because you have to build a profile, and if you have an account, it's going to try and replicate your editing style. So that if you and I uploaded the same photo, it'll give us different results. One edited in your style and one in mine. And they also actually have, like, some professional photographers have made a profile that you can use as well. So if you like shoot a wedding, you can use one of their wedding photographers' profile and it will do what they normally do in that edit. So if you just want a quick way to edit it and you don't have a history shooting that genre, then that's quite handy. But the funny thing is, you think with AI that it's going to be like some, oh my God, wow, that's unbelievable result. Actually, the best result, if it's working perfectly, it shouldn't surprise me at all. It should
Because that is copying you.
Exactly. So if it does better than me, careful, the machines are rising and they're going to take over the world. But actually, ideally is that it looks exactly what I would have done. So anyway, let's open it up and show you a look at the shots. Now, so taking a look at the shots that we chose out as ones that we liked, this was one of the Hasselblad shots. This is actually the after shot. It's funny, whenever you look at these things, if you look at the before or the after, they kind of look okay, but it's only when you look at them one after the other, you can really see the big difference. So there's our before. So with everything zeroed out, doesn't look like there was too much of a change in crop. Then in the after, so taking a look, it has boosted the exposure, added highlights, whites, dropped the blacks a little bit, added dehaze, a little bit of clarity, and did it adjust the crop at all? Yeah, so it also leveled it out and cropped it in a little bit. And that is kind of the crop I would probably do on that. You've got your elbows on the thirds and then your shoulders on the thirds. It's kind of nicely framed. So again, it's not, oh wow, but that means we probably took 20 in that position on the day. All of them are now edited and I don't need to go through and do it one by one, so it's a time saving. Let's look at the rest in reverse, looking at the before and then the suggested edit. So look away.
Just look like magic.
Exactly. So this next one, you can see the skin tones aren't too under, well, it looks okay, but the background's so dark, and looking at our histogram, it is actually, we've got a lot to push the highlights up if we want it to be a correct exposure. It's interesting that of all the shots we shot on the day so far, the first two are both Hasselblad shots. So that's the before, and the after is this. So it has boosted the exposure by 0.8 of a stop, brought down the shadows, I guess, to bring them back because we brought the overall exposure up, and then brought the blacks down as well. No clarity, dehaze, anything like that on this one. And again, it has slightly straightened it and it's cropped it again, putting it the third on there. But, you know, kind of intelligent. It hasn't cropped the top of your head. It's still got the waistband on the side. This third is going straight up through your hand. And that's actually, I think it's changed the aspect ratio a little bit. This is a 2x3 sensor rather than a 4x3 sensor. And it's actually made it into more of a 4x3 aspect shot. What do you think so far? Can you see how you could potentially use this in your shooting?
So is that really just a button and make those change?
So it's not a button, but really the machine did it. So how the process worked, you open the app, you tell it what folder or what images you want it to work on, then you upload it, because I was uploading like 1,400 or something Hasselblad files. It took almost an hour, but if you're doing 200 Fuji shots, it might take 5 minutes. And then they've actually just improved their algorithm, and they can do 150 shots a minute. They can do the edits. So in under 10 minutes, I got an email saying it's done. And then just click a button and it downloads to your Lightroom catalog just a little sidecar file. So you know when you edit in Lightroom, it makes a little file on the side. So you have your original photo not touched, so it's still good. And then a sidecar file that tells it what you've done on all of these sliders and crops that you've made. So that's just like a little 1 kilobyte nothing file. So it downloads that and then applies it to it. So you can just undo it if you want, but yes, basically you reopen the software, your Lightroom, and boom, the edit is done. If you then said, actually, I don't really love the way that's been cropped, I want to bring it up just to the elbows or something, then you can do that. And if you, for example, said, actually, I want the blacks on this one, you know, further down and the highlights up more, and that's the final result I want. After you've gone through and made your tweaks, you can then send feedback, and that feedback is free. So making the account is free, sending the thousands of images you need to build your profile is free. Them doing the edits is charged per image, and then you sending feedback to tweak the algorithm is also free. So you only pay for the edited part. So then it will learn that. So let's say, you know, how you're editing now is obviously very different to it was 5 years ago. So you don't want it to edit in your 2-year-old style. So sending that feedback so it keeps up with how your style is developing is important. And then of course you could have a black and white boudoir, a colored boudoir, a wedding photography one, and you know, having 10 different profiles doesn't cost anything either. You just tell it, edit these images in that profile, and then you have to add in the upload time, but otherwise, yeah, it's like 150 a minute. So including the upload, I could have had all 1,500 of these edited in an hour and 10 minutes. So basically by the time I packed up from the shoot and got back to the studio, I get home and the AI has edited it for me. Let's look at a couple more here. This is a nice one, but the next one I think is even nicer. And from memory, I think actually Ernest took this as he was just playing with the Hasselblad camera from the side. And I actually really like this as a color, so I don't know if the black and white edit will be the one that I want. But that's the edit it's coming up with. So that may be one where I might, I would want more saturation if I was gonna keep it as a color. So as a black and white, let's see what it's actually done. So it has cropped it in, still keeping the edge of that chair. So I might actually personally bring it in even a little bit more so we get the chair right on the third. Both look fine. Exposure, shadows, blacks, clarity, dehaze, doesn't look like. So this will be based on you. Like if you're looking at this thinking, but it hasn't done noise reduction or it hasn't done grain or whatever, that's because I typically don't. So if you tend to do 100 edits per photo and I do 5, you can expect that many back as well. But yeah, nice one. And let's take a look at a couple of the ones from Rosanna that I think you actually helped guide her into some of these poses. So this one is color. It is a challenging one. You can see the histogram already. You remember that window. It's just a fully backlit window with sheer curtains. It's a challenge for your camera to retain detail in that. That's also a challenge in terms of exposure. So let's take a look at the after. Okay, so, well, actually the histogram looks like it's changed quite a lot there. So that was before. So a fairly significant difference. Again, exposure, the highlights have been pushed way up, so they're fully blown out. Shadows up, blacks down. I don't know if that's what it looks funny seeing +1 and -1 like that, but again, it's based on what I tend to do in the past, I guess. Dehaze, which you kind of will need on this kind of shot. So actually the back eye is on focus on this one. But yeah, we are losing detail in the hair, so the dehaze will have been helping to bring that back a little bit. And I think the crop on that one, what am I doing here? I think it works quite well, bringing it in on the chair, not having that border at the bottom. That works quite nicely. And one other one here, this is another one that I thought kind of works well in color. We did a few different variations here where she was really like pulling quite awkward poses, but I thought this one, I chose this one as not one of the finals, but I like the shot. But then it's really tricky when you've got all of those sharp lines in the background. How do you get something level? You know, if you want to have this side straight vertically and this side straight vertically and this horizontal, but you're not shooting straight at it, it's almost impossible because that back bar has to fall away because you're shooting on it at an angle. So let's see what they came up with.
Oh.
Okay, so there's our after. So again, the before and the after. I think that's a pretty good job, no?
Yeah. Just look like you often shoot me like this. You know, at the same bed.
So yes, we've shot in this hotel a couple of times. But so just thinking about the edit, it's done a lot on the crop. I think the exposure is kind of similar, the kind of stuff I normally do, but in terms of the crop, quite intelligent. So it's kept the lines that are straight and left out this one that couldn't be straightened because of the differences in the shot. And her position in the frame ends up being kind of nice, and there's nothing jarring about the overall scene. So what do you think?
Actually, I want to know the price because I think if I'm not editing so many pictures, seems like maybe not using this app or AI. But if the price is low and I think, oh, that is easy for me to editing, maybe I will use it.
So I'll answer you directly, but it reminds me there's also something new coming that I think is going to be really interesting. So it's 5 cents US a photo. So if you took 20, if you asked it to edit 20 photos, that's $1. If you had it edit 200 would be $10, 2,000 would be $100. So a wedding could be 500 or 2,000, so that could be $100. But for what you're charging for a wedding and the kind of 2 weeks of time it might take you to do the edit, I mean, most people's time is worth more than $100. But here's a cool thing. Did that answer your question okay?
Yeah.
There's 2 things they have coming, which I am really excited about, and I'll try it out for you guys once I get a beta of it. One is doing local adjustments, so actually being able to do masks, so it could like adjust you and the background differently.
Oh.
Which means they actually have to analyze the photo using the bootstrap or the back end technical stuff from Lightroom to analyze and see where's the face and stuff. So that's way more complicated than what they're doing now. So one, that's cool. But the second one is they're bringing in culling. So then if we took 1,400 photos, it'll go through and you can choose if you wanted to use stars or some other method like accept, reject, and say, ignore these 1,200, only edit these 200.
Oh.
So if we took 10 of you by the window, it'll say this, well, it won't say, but you blinked, rejected. It's blurry, rejected. And then just choose the one unique one where everything's good, or the 1 or 2 if there was heaps of them. And then by doing that, let's say we shot, I'm making these numbers up, 1,000 shots and it only chooses 50 as pics. Then you only have to pay for the 50 pics.
Oh, and
so actually you'd be saving money and only editing the good ones.
Yeah.
So that seems great for us. I don't know how it's good for their profit margin, but it seems great for us. So it's not going to be for everything. I think if you're either doing bulk stuff like sports or dance, or a portrait shoot can have hundreds of shots, but it's kind of about the pricing. By being per photo, if you do 1,000 shots at a wedding, then maybe paying the $50 is worth it. If you do 100 shots in a portrait, well then $5 is probably worth it too. You know, it's still 5 cents per image, whether it's a big job or a little job. It's just, does it have a budget, and do you want to go through the soul-crushing process of actually editing it yourself? I mean, your partner is a wedding photographer, right? So I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but every wedding photographer is famous for being months behind on their editing and always being chased by clients for shoots that are, 3 months ago that they haven't delivered. I think that's actually how this software began. The founder of this company was chasing his own wedding photos from the wedding photographer, saw him at a wedding 6 months later and said, come on, where are my photos? He's like, I'm a one-man band, I can't keep up with it. He said, well, we're gonna do this. And he founded this company to basically for wedding photographers, but now as a portrait and sports photographer, it's great for me too. Any other questions?
Seems this one is quite nice, but I still think, what if I put other photos that is not look like my style? Can you show me some example that like showing photo is not like your style? How is this going to?
Okay, so I'll do it, that's fine. But it's still, like if I choose some basketball photos, it's still going to edit them in the way I edit black and white boudoir photos because I've uploaded 5,000 or 10,000 black and white boudoir photos. It's learned from that. So I can choose something at random and get it to edit them in those style, but it might just look like I'm making a sultry basketball player rather than this doesn't really make sense. So let me just find something quickly here. Okay, so I found a couple of non-boudoir images to try it on, and I think there's a fairly easy way to have it just edit those ones. So let's go back into Lightroom. Let's give Tyson 5 stars. We'll give this little girl 5 stars, and why not? I'll give myself 5 stars. So that's all in folder 1005. So let's quit that. Quit Lightroom for now. So here's the main interface that you use. So as I was saying, you can teach it. That's where you upload your images to make a profile. You can edit, so send photos like I did for our previous one, and it will edit them for you. And then you can download your edits, or here's fine tune, where if we made changes to the ones it gave us, we can re-upload our adjustments. So if we go into edit and go into our catalog, now my catalog has 600,000 or more images in it, so it'll just take a little minute. All right, so go into that folder, a total of 263 images, but I can use image filters. And I'm only going to look at 5-star images, so then it's just chosen 3. So choose them. Please name the project Felicia Demo. Choose. And then it's saying, oh wait, but I didn't tell it. Let's go back. You can see there, no to crop, no to straighten. So I had turned those options off. You have the choice, do you want it to do that or not? So let's just go back and I'll turn that on. Okay, so this time I'll turn on, straighten and crop.
And finish?
So it's now going to upload the 3 files. So 1 file done, 2nd file, 3rd file, and then it'll send me an email. So it uploads them to their server. The server will analyze them, apply my adjustments, and we can actually probably do this all in real time. So the only thing is I don't really want to show my inbox because it's embarrassing how many unread images I have, unread emails, but still. It would be so funny if the edits come back and Tyson's wearing lingerie. Oh, there we go. It's ready. So your images are ready. And so that's just letting us know that it's ready. But I actually can just in here go to download. Choose Felicia Demo. So let's only look at 5-star images. And here they are. So now, here is Tyson as the after. That's the edit that they've given it if Tyson were being edited in boudoir style. Now I'm fine to do this demo, but of course keep in mind, this isn't a pet profile. This is a people profile. but that's the before and after. So again, it applied a small straighten and crop to get the background lines working. It increased the exposure, and that looks like about it on that one. On this photo of this dashing gentleman, again, it's adjusted the crop and the straightness a little bit, dropped the exposure, contrast, black and clarity adjustments. And then this one of the little girl, 0.57 up. So on this one, given the highlights are so bright and her skin's a little dark, and this isn't something, I'm not shooting boudoir shoots where people are wearing bright white clothing or masks. This isn't an issue I face often. But if I were making a profile based on street shots, I would probably either bring the overall exposure up and drop the highlights a little bit, or go back to where it had it and use a channel mix and use that to brighten up her skin a little bit to balance it out. But when someone's wearing bright whites, it's a little bit challenging. And I might even crop that one. I would crop things on the street differently than I would in the hotel. But so that you can apply it to any kind of image, but it's all going to come back in a Matt's boudoir style. Same way if you got the talent profile of a wedding photographer who does like beautiful, soft, romantic, pastel colored edits, and you put it on your grungy street photography, it's just going to look, it's not going to match, but that's what it's going to do to your images. So anyway, thank you for that. If you want to check it out, and if you guys do as well, you can check out the details below. You can make your profile for free, test it out and see how it all works. And they'll give away 1,500 free edits. So your first 1,500 are free, and then you only charge 5 cents an edit after that. So you could test it on a few portrait shoots and see if it saves you time and if it's worth your while, and you guys can as well. Let me know if you have any questions on that, and let me know what you'd like to see in future A Day in the Life of on the different kinds of shooting that we do. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys later.